In this episode, you'll learn about dual reporting, peer groups as technical supervisors, how to make hybrid organizations work, and the two-plane organization. Dual reporting, as the name suggests, is when an employee reports to two managers who are jointly responsible for the employee's performance. The need for dual reporting is fundamental. Think about how a person becomes a manager. The first step in your career was likely as an individual contributor. As you leveled up and improved your skills, you were promoted to a more senior position and then eventually to a management position, where you supervised people in your functional specialty. But at some point, if you keep getting promoted, you'll find yourself as a mission-oriented manager, managing people in disciplines that you have no real experience in. So while you're perfectly capable of managing the more general aspects of the job, you have no choice but to leave the technical aspects to your report. One solution is to have all employees of a particular discipline report into a functional manager instead of you. But the more you do this, the more you move toward a totally functional organization, which, as we learned in the last episode, reduces your ability to respond to changes in environmental demand. The desired state is to have the immediacy and operating principles come from the mission-oriented manager, while also having functional supervision come from a functional manager. The solution is dual reporting. The role of the functional leader doesn't need to be filled by a single person. In fact, it's commonly solved through a peer group who come together to discuss common problems that their mission-oriented bosses can't help them with. In effect, they're now supervised by their boss and a group of peers. To make this work, you need the voluntary surrender of individual decision-making to the group. Being a member means you no longer have complete freedom and must go along with the decisions of your peers most of the time. This only works if you trust your peers, and trust is built on the back of culture. Culture is the set of values and beliefs, as well as the way things are done within a company. A strong and positive culture is essential if dual reporting and decision-making by peers are to work. This setup makes a manager's life more ambiguous, and most people don't like ambiguity. This leads to people looking for something simpler, but the reality is that it doesn't exist. Dual reporting in some form is needed to make hybrid organizations work. To make hybrid organizations work, you need a way to ensure that the resources of functional groups are allocated and delivered to meet the needs of mission-oriented units. The professional methods, practices, and standards are set by the functional manager, while general managers give mission-oriented priorities by focusing people on specific problems. Dual reporting is certainly a tax on productivity. It requires everyone to understand the needs and thought processes of their peers, but there's no real alternative when you need to manage a hybrid organization. Dual reporting and the hybrid organizational structure that it supports are inevitable consequences of being a large organization, but should not be an excuse for needless busywork. You still need to remove unnecessary bureaucratic hindrance, apply work simplification, and most of all, focus on increasing leverage. Just don't expect to escape from the complexity by playing with reporting arrangements. The hybrid structure is fundamental to any large organization. A subtle variation on dual reporting happens whenever you become involved in coordinating something that is not part of your regular work. For example, if you work as a sales manager and are part of a committee of sales managers who are responsible for improving the sales processes at your company, you are reporting to multiple people. Your responsibilities can't fit on a single org chart. Instead, the two hierarchies operate on different planes. This arrangement uses your skills and know-how in two different capacities, which allows you to exert much larger leverage on the organization. In your main job, your knowledge improves your team's performance. In the second, you influence the work of all salespeople at your company. It also turns out that people who are a subordinate in one plane may be the leader in another. For example, you might be the leader of the sales committee, but a subordinate in a strategic planning group. And if you can operate on two planes, you can likely operate on three or more. The point is that the two or multi-plane organization is very useful. It allows you to be a leader when appropriate and a follower when you aren't the most qualified person to lead, which gives the organization more flexibility. The key factor common to all of these arrangements is the use of cultural values as a mode of control, which is the subject of the next episode.